some standings really quick. We got the AFC North. We got Baltimore 6-0, the Ravens, Cleveland at 5-1, Cincinnati at 4-2, and we got the Steelers at 2-4. And we're gonna go over now the AFC South. You got the Colts at 5-1, the Titans at 3-2, Jacksonville at 2-4, and we got Houston at 0-5. And in the AFC East, we got the Bills at 3-3, Miami at 2-4. Yeah, the AFC in this league, it's just always starts off bad, man. It always starts off bad, but I think it's gonna be competitive. We got Iota picking up the Jets. Kuzi should be picking it up late in the season. So we got the Patriots at 1-5 and the Jets at 0-6. Now the AFC West, we got the Chargers at 6-0, undefeated, along with the Ravens. Those are the only two undefeated teams left in the league. We got Denver at 3-3. We got the Kansas City Chiefs also at 3-3. So we got John and Prime, that division rivalry right there, fighting for that number 2 spot. And then we got the Raiders at 1-4. Now let's go with some NFC North standings. The NFC side, and we got Green Bay at 4-2, Minnesota Vikings at 4-2, and the Bears at 4-2. Man, this division is shaping up to be one of my favorites right now. Keep an eye on this. We got the Lions also, Ocho at 3-2. Expect him to start picking it up too. All right, so NFC South standings, we got the Saints at 5-1, Atlanta at 2-4, Tampa Bay at 2-4, and Carolina Panthers at 1-5. In the NFC East, we got the Eagles at 4-2, the Cowboys at 4-2, and then we got the Giants and Washington, the Commanders, both at 1-5. In the NFC West, another division that could really shape up to be a good one too. We got the Rams at 5-1. We got the Cardinals at 4-2. The 49ers at 3-3. And then we got the Seattle Seahawks at 1-5. So let's just get into it, man. What's jumping off the board to me right now? The Chargers, literally. And we're gonna take a deep dive into the Chargers, what they got going on. They one of my who's hot, who's not teams, and the Chargers, man, 6-0, just completely just dominating right now in the league. We also got Baltimore, who's 6-0, also getting some really good quality wins. They starting to pick it up and get it together, and we got witness also, man, with the Colts at 5-1, really impressive. JT has literally been unstoppable, man. Literally has been unstoppable. I think he's number 1 in rushing right now with 800 yards. He's on the pace to 2K. Because if he has, right now we at the first trimester, week 6, and he already has 800 yards. So he's well on his way to 2K. And you know, it's only one other person that has rushed for 2,000 yards, and you know who that is. That is Malibu and when he had the Jags, well, with ETN. So I really could see Jonathan Taylor and Witness getting that done, man. He is really using the Colts to their strengths, man. That run game, that offensive line, and he's dominating with them. 5-1 on the season. Buffalo, they haven't got it together yet. Division is obviously kind of sweet. He got to pick it up. Because, you know, next cycle, we got Iota coming in, who was a former champion last cycle. And he's picking up the Jets. And it's going to be some competition to expect. You know, first season's a little different. Everybody's still getting used to the game. Obviously, some people pick up the game a little faster than others. But I expect Kuzi and Miami to pick it up sooner than later. Maybe draft a QB. We'll see what happens. But right now, they're 2-4. And we got the Buffalo Bills at the top of the division. And we got the Cleveland Browns at the 5-1 right now. They took that loss to the Chargers on GDP. And we got Cincinnati at 4-2. They just dropped 2 losses. So it was a bunch of undefeated teams in the AFC North. And they seem to be picking up. Now we're gonna go over to the NFC. And we got the Rams at 5-1, who took their only loss to Dallas. Dallas just took a huge loss to Philadelphia, and that might put them at the top of the division, but I expect them to split. I expect Dallas to win that next matchup. We got New Orleans at 5-1, and if you watch GDP versus the Bengals, man, New Orleans put on a show on the sticks, man. What a great game. Kamara, he's using New Orleans to their strengths also. Kamara's having a really good season. He's not top 5 in rushing. I'm pretty sure he's top 10. But right now, let's just go over some stats. Offensively, some passing leaders. We got Aaron Rodgers at the top, 1,733 yards. Daniel Jones is up there too, even though the Giants are struggling. Jalen Hurts is up there. You see the Eagles trying to trade him, but he's really what's carrying them right now. And I think he's had Play of the Week probably twice already. You got Derek Carr leading also with the Raiders, even though they're struggling. And Dak Prescott with his efficiency is looking really good too. He's top 5 in passing. And we just spoke about, let's go over some rushing leaders. We just spoke about JT. 838 yards. Magnificent. 9 touchdowns. Cam Akers with the Rams, 12 touchdowns. He's having a great season too. Joe Mixon with the Bengals, also 652 yards, 6 yards per carry. Montgomery too with the Bears. He's a big part of the Bears' success, and we're going to get a deep dive into what the Bears got going on. Also, he got 4 touchdowns. And CMC with the Panthers. Even though the Panthers are struggling, CMC, I think they need to lean on him a little bit more. Almost 6 yards per carry, 5.93 and 7 touchdowns. And Marvin Jones for Jacksonville Jaguars is leading in receiving, 6 touchdowns, 629 yards. Devontae Adams, not a surprise there. Travis Kelce with the Kansas City Chiefs, big focal point there. No touchdowns, which is a big surprise for Kansas City. They got to get in the red zone to get that man the ball. I think that provided more success than they already got. Kansas City starting to get used to their offense heating up, and they putting up big points. Dawson Knox and Tyreek Hill. So that's top 5 for offense. Let's just go over defense really quick. Tackling leaders, we got Davion Taylor. Usually this is mostly, we're not going to really go over that. This is usually mostly CPU stuff. Sack leaders, Khalil Mack. A big part of the success right now for the Chargers is Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. He has almost 10 sacks, 9.5 sacks. Max Crosby has 6 sacks for the Raiders. Aaron Donald, no surprise there for the Rams, 6 sacks. Cameron Jordan and the Jets, Carl Lawson. Most of that's probably due to Sim. And let's go over interception leaders, man. Kyle Hamilton, 9 interceptions. He's a big focal point of the Ravens defense. A lot of turnovers for that Ravens defense. Darius Williams with 6 interceptions for the Jags. Julian Blackman for the Colts. Chidobe Awuzie, big focal point for the Bengals. He is a game changer for the Bengals. 6 interceptions. And then we got Kareem Jackson over there in Denver, a part of their early success with the interceptions, and he has 5. So now let's get into our next topic, and that is going to be the power ranking. And like I said earlier, we're just going to go over Neon's power ranking, the top 10, and then I'm going to probably talk about what I changed and what I put in place. But it looks really good from here. So we got the Chargers at 6-0 at number 1, who jumped 2 spots. We got the Rams at number 5 at the number 2 spot. And then we got the Ravens at number 3. Then we got the Colts at the number 4 spot. The Saints at the number 5 spot. At the number 6 spot, we got the Browns. The number 7 spot, we got the Bengals. The 8th spot, we got the Bears. The 9th spot, we got the Vikings. The 10th spot, we got the Eagles. So right now, what I would change right now, I put the Ravens at number 2 above the Rams. The Rams will be at 3. But that's a toss-up. It's interchangeable. You could do both. But I would put them up there. Being said that they lost to the Cowboys, who Neon has listed at 11, I wouldn't put Rams so high. But Rams is having a great season. But I think the Ravens are definitely doing a little bit better. So I would put the Ravens at number 2, the Rams at number 3. I would put the Saints at number 4. Swap them with the Colts. I'd swap those two. The list looks really good. Wouldn't really change much. It's just my opinion. At number 6, the Browns are good there. I will put the Browns at number 6. but the strength of their schedule early kind of raises some question, especially the way they performed on GDP versus the Chargers. But maybe that could go to say the Chargers could just really be really dominant right now. The Bengals at number 7, that looks good. I like the Bears at number 8. I probably put the Bears over the Bengals. Being said, they just dropped 2 in a row, so I'll put the Bears at 7 and then the Bengals at 8. And then at 9, the Vikings. I wouldn't really put the Vikings there. I will put the Eagles there and then the Cowboys. So that would be my list. So Chargers at number 1, Ravens at number 2, Rams at number 3, Saints at number 4, Colts at number 5, the Browns at number 6, the Bears at number 7, Bengals at number 8, Eagles at number 9, and Cowboys at number 10. I'd probably throw Vikings honorable mention. He's having a good season too at number 11. So that's what my power rankings would look like. I'm not sure completely what Neon does it based off, but it looks really good. Probably strength of schedule, points for, who you play, points against. So that looks really good. So we are gonna wrap that up and go over our next topic right now, and that is Smooth's early playoff predictions. And just give me a second just to get to that really quick. So for those of you who don't know, Smooth does his playoff predictions early in the season, who he thinks is gonna get, the 1 seed, the 2 seed, who's gonna be the 3 seed, and it's usually pretty accurate. Really like that. Appreciate, man. Shout outs to Smooth, man. He's just a huge help for me right now, and with this early playoff predictions, I love it. I always get it from him. We always do this. The first trimester, and then we look at it towards the end. So let's go over this real quick. For the AFC, he got the Chargers at the number 1 seed. The Ravens, so he got the Chargers getting that bye week, the number 1 seed. In the NFC, he has the Cowboys getting the number 1 seed also. So the Cowboys, they dropped two games, one to the Eagles, and I'm not sure who they lost to earlier. Let me double check real quick who Dallas lost to early in the season. Okay, they lost to Cincinnati, which was a really good game, 21-16. So they got the Cowboys at the number 1 seed in the NFC, and let's go over the rest. They got the Ravens at the number 2 seed in the AFC. The 3 seed, they have the Bills. The Bills looking to struggle, man. So I'm really not too sure about that, but like I said, it's early in the season. The Bills could pick it up. But being said, that division is super sweet. I could see them at 3. So I think that's good. You got to keep the division in mind. At number 4, they have the Colts. At number 5, they got the Bengals. Number 6, they got the Broncos, who's dropped 3 in a row, making that 6 seed, and they got the Browns at 7 seed. So those first round matchups, those wild card matchups, it'll be Ravens versus the Browns. We got Chargers with the bye week. It'll be Ravens versus the Browns, which will be an awesome matchup. They got the Bills versus the Broncos. The Broncos team, they look to be struggling. They look to be struggling a little bit. They started off really hot, 3-0, and then they've lost 3 straight. They lost to the Raiders, who's struggling really bad. They lost to the Chargers, but they played a really good game. So it's just offensively, I think if the Broncos pick it up, they could get that number 6 spot. Maybe that number 7 spot also. We got the Colts versus the Bengals, man, which I would love to see that matchup. Jonathan Taylor versus Joe Mixon. So I like what the AFC, what Smooth has the AFC going on. That looks really good with the AFC. Now let's go over the NFC playoff predictions. We got the Cowboys, like I said, getting that bye week. The Rams at number 2. The Saints at number 3. The Vikings at that number 4 spot. The Lions at that number 7 spot. The 49ers at that number 6 spot. And the 49ers struggling a little bit. Not sure what's going on. They just don't seem to be getting it together. Taco's more of a running coach, and he has the rookie Terrion Davis. He seems to be he hasn't seemed to be getting it together, man. He's just not getting it together. I think he's in the process of moving also, so that could be the issue. But like I said, it's just the first season. It's still early in the season. That number 6 spot is pretty good. It shouldn't be hard to make in the NFC for Taco. It shouldn't be hard to make that number 6 spot. I could see him at number 7 too. At the number 5 spot, he got the Eagles, and at the number 7 spot, he got the Lions. So here's the matchups for the wild card. Like I said, we got the Cowboys at the bye. Rams versus Lions, man. That could be a really good matchup. The Rams playing really well. Lions, they just got Huntley from the Ravens, and he put on an absolute show, man. The game didn't save, but they put up probably 60 points versus the Raiders. It's the Raiders though, but versus the Raiders, put up over 60 points. We know Ocho can put up them points, man. And I feel like Huntley's gonna motivate him a little more. Having a young quarterback, that's gonna motivate him a little more to win those games. So we'll see what happens with that. That's a good spot for Ocho. I could see him at number 6 also if he can pick it up. Saints versus 49ers, man, and that could also be a good matchup. Saints at 3, 49ers at number 6. Debo with Kamara has been doing a phenomenal job, man. And defensively, I think he leads the league in turnovers right now. Defensively, he looks good, middle of the pack in the statistics, but the name of the game, man, with getting all those turnovers, I feel like this Madden user and stick skills, that's what really matters. And when it comes to turnovers, he has plenty of it. He got a bunch of guys over 3, 4, 5 picks on the team. Tyrann Mathieu leading the way. He got 5 interceptions. Marcus May got 4 interceptions. Demario Davis at linebacker got 4 interceptions. Alontae Taylor with 3 interceptions. So, that could be a really good matchup. 49ers expect them to pick it up the second half of the season. Now we got the Vikings and the Eagles at the 4 and 5 spot. And that could be a really good matchup. Villain versus Q, man. That could be a really, really good matchup. I feel like the issue with Q right now, he's doing well, 4 and 2. But I feel like the issue with Q, he needs to lean on Dalvin Cook a little bit more. That's what I would do. You know what I mean? Rushing, I think he's like middle of the pack in rushing. 12th in rushing. Dalvin Cook is looking pretty good. But I feel like he could lean on him more with the carries and the attempts. He's averaging almost 5 yards a carry, 4.8. Justin Jefferson having a phenomenal season, 28 catches. He's spreading the ball really well, and I feel like the Eagles, they got 2 force wins, I believe. Yeah, they got 2 force wins. So, but they're 4 and 2, having a good season. They got a huge, well-needed win over their division rival, the Cowboys. So that could be a really good matchup at 4 and 5, man. I'd be excited to see that. So that's gonna wrap it up for Smooth's playoff predictions. And now we're gonna get into who's hot, who's not. One of my favorite topics, man. And let's just dive right into it. We're gonna start off with who's hot right now, and we're gonna go with the Chargers, man. The Chargers just look really, really phenomenal right now. And just defense right there, shout off the charts right now. And they've been beating not really some good teams. They took down the Browns though. They dominated the Browns, and Browns has been dominating everyone else. So the Browns came in at 4 and 0. They faced the Chargers, and the Chargers absolutely knocked them off. And it just made the Chargers look so much more dominant, so much more better when they could do that to a team who's having so much success versus everyone else. So let's get into the passing, man. Justin Herbert, 75 for out of 120 attempts. That's 62%, and that's really good. And what really jumps off the board for the Chargers, man, 14 touchdowns and only 1 interception on the season through 6 weeks. 1 interception. That is not turning the ball over, man. That's efficiency right there. And that's the recipe. Defense and not turning the ball over. And I feel like their point differential is what changes everything for them right now. Austin Eckler rushing the ball. Almost 6 yards a carry, 4.9, 634 yards. Nothing crazy here, not top 5 in rushing, but it's efficient. Man, when you when your defense is getting off the field and your offense, you could control the clock, make turnovers. Your defense could put you in great field position. And if you look at the statistics for his receivers, man, the touchdowns just stand out to me. You got Guyton with 5 touchdowns. We got Donald Parham with 4 touchdowns. We got Keenan Allen with 4 touchdowns. So it's the defense turning the ball over, putting them in good field position to score and be efficient in the red zone. And Doc is using that to his strengths. And that is what's dominating. Anytime you can score points when you're not supposed to have the ball, you can take the ball away and score off those turnovers. And that's the reason why his point differential is so high. Let's go over his defense, which is what's Doc been known for, man, since he joined the league. The defense is just what stands out. 6 points per game averaging, man. Opponents on average have been only able to score 6 points per game, and that is number 1 in the league. In yards, he's also number 1. He's also number 1 in the league. 1,169 yards. Rushing defense, he's only allowed 280 rushing yards in 6 games. He's number 1 in that category too. Passing yards, he's 3rd. So that defense is just top 3 in everything. Number 1 in 3 categories. Doc's defense is looking unstoppable, and everybody knows, man, in FML the recipe for success is defense and limited turnovers, and that's literally what Doc has been doing all season. Austin Eckler, like I said, with 5 touchdowns. It's just so much efficiency, man, when you look at this Chargers, the offense and defense. Everything is just so balanced, and when the defense could put you in position to score, your offense is going to flourish, man, and he's done just that. Now, let's go over the next who's hot, man, and I chose the Bears. They started off 0-2, and they've won 4 games straight, man. And the Bears has just also been dominant, especially in the run game. Let's go over some statistics for the Bears. Fields, 64% passing, got 12 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. The 10 interceptions, it's all right. Through 6 games, he's thrown 10 picks. Keeping the turnovers down, because obviously, a lot of people were double that in the 20s. So 10 is really good right now for this part of the season. In points per game, he's number 6, averaging 30 points per game, and that's number 6 in the league. That's top 10. Rushing, he is also 6th in rushing, 746 rushing yards, and he's at the top of that, top 10 in rushing. And David Montgomery, man, David Montgomery has been on a tear right now, and I think he's top 5 in rushing. He has to be. Yeah, he's number 4th in rushing, 634 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5.8 yards a carry. So most of the guys that's top 5 in rushing, they average over 5 yards per carry. And when you average that many yards per carry, if they can't stop your run game, it's hard to stop anything. The run game can control time of possession, control the game, and it's just deflating for the defense, man, to just get those 5, 4, 6 yards per carry every time you touch the rock. So the Bears has been doing an amazing job of that. David Montgomery, like I said, 6 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns. 20-plus yard runs. He's had 6 20-plus yard runs, man. So he's breaking through. He's breaking off some big runs every game. Another focal point, Odell. In the receiving game, man, Justin Fields has been doing really well passing the ball, 64% passing, and that's really, really efficient in this league. And especially, like I said, Madden, right now it's a turnover game, man. It's a stick skills and turnover game. Defense is the focal point this Madden and running the ball. and the Bears, they figured it out. Literally, the Bears is a new user. It's Rondo. And he's been doing extremely well. He started off 0-2, like I said before, and he's figured it out, man. Defense and running the ball. And running the ball is going to limit turnovers, man. It's going to limit interceptions. So Odell Beckham Jr. with 15 catches on the season, 355 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But the person who jumps out to me for this receiving core is Cole Kmet, man, the tight end, 291 yards and 5 touchdowns. And defensively, the Bears have been doing pretty well too also. Nothing really jumps out. The defense not too dominant. It's middle of the pack, 13th, allowing 22 points per game. But anytime you can score more than you allow, you're going to win the game. Hello. So rushing, he is 7th in run defense, man. And like I said, it's a league where you got to run the ball. So if he is 7th in run defense, stopping teams' running game, what do they have left to pass the ball? And he is turning the ball over. So he's stopping the run, forcing them to turn the ball over, and he has 17 interceptions on the season in 6 games. In 6 games. That's well over 2 interceptions per game. So that's going to wrap it up for the Bears, man. He is hot this season. 4-2. Started off 0-2. 4-win streak, and he is looking extremely good right now. And now let's go over who's not, man. This is what some people don't want to hear it, but you're gonna hear it, man. You're gonna hear it. You gotta hear it. Who's not? We're gonna start off with the Falcons, man. With the Falcons, and the Falcons is one of the users. He was in the top 20. I don't remember off the top of my head what he was ranked. I think he was ranked maybe 12. I'm probably really way off right now. I could pull it up right now, actually. Let me pull it up. He 13th, so I was close. He was ranked 13th in the top 20 power ranking, and he is he just doesn't look good, man. And he is my who's not. He's 2-4. I think he started off 1-4. He just won his most recent game, but nonetheless, he's my who's not hot. So Falcons offense, 14 points per game. He's 30th in points per game. 30th with the Falcons. And the Falcons is a team who has a great wide receiving core. They got Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley, Desmond Ridder, who's a rookie who could get things done. A really good offensive core, and he's just struggling. And one of the reasons why he's struggling so much, interceptions, man. 18 interceptions on 9 touchdowns. Running the ball, he's 22nd in rushing, so he could pick that up a little bit more. Cardell Patterson struggling, 3 yards a carry, just under 3 yards a carry. But we got Tyler. He is 4 yards a carry, man. Get his attempts up. Cardell Patterson has 47 attempts. Tyler has 22 attempts. Man, double the attempts on Tyler, man. 4 yards per carry. And I feel like they could get some success. Maybe some short intermediate throws for Desmond Ridder. But the interceptions is what jump off to me, man. And like I said, this is a league where if you turn the ball over, you're going to lose games, man. Guys are going to turn those turnovers into points. It's that simple. So 18 touchdowns in 6 games, man. That is horrible. Literally, that is horrible. He only got 9 touchdowns. He's 50% passing. So you got 77 passes, completions, 142 attempts. That's just a little bit over 50%. I think like 54% maybe. And receiving, Drake London, he's doing really well receiving, man. 20 catches, 433 yards. Got to get him some touchdowns. Red zone efficiency, man. And to get into the red zone, you got to stop turning the ball over. Defensively, he looks really good defensively. Middle of the pack. So not really good. He's 18th in points per game. But the issue is, if you're allowing 25 points per game and only scoring 14 points per game, how are you going to win games? So he just got to flip that around offensively. He got to pick it up, man, and limit the turnovers. And part of the reason why he's allowing 25 points per game is going to be because of turnovers. Your opponent is taking those turnovers and turning them into points. So defensively, I feel like the statistics don't tell the whole truth. He's 13th in yards allowed, which is really good. Top half of the league, 1,724 yards. So you just got to pick it up with the interceptions, and I think that's the only issue. If Kincaid could fix that and limit the interceptions, I feel like he could turn this around. He could turn this season around, and he could do some things because, like I said, he was in the top 20. He finished off. He joined late last cycle, but finished off really well. Beat some top users. So I feel like he could get it done. Just got to figure it out. And it's just the first season, man. This is where everyone's figuring out the game. Right now, he doesn't have it figured out. Interceptions, you got to limit the interceptions, make better reads. Don't give up on Riddler, man. Don't give up on Ritter. This is interceptions is a user error. 9 times out of 10, interceptions are user error. All right, so let's go into the next who's not. So that was the Falcons, and we're going to go over the next who's not. And we're going to go with Miami, man. Miami and Kuzi. It's just been struggling, 2-4. And Kuzi's a guy. The Dolphins have a ton of weapons. Tua is not that great statistically, but he can get it done. And this is another issue also with that the same issue that every user has that doesn't have success in this league, and it's interceptions again. Interceptions. Kuzi, the points. He's just listen to this. He's number 1 in pass yards, but in points he's middle of the pack. Why? Because of turnovers, man. He can't stop the run game worth shit. Run defense, he's 30th in the league in run defense. He can't stop. He can't stop anything in the run game. So the defense, he's struggling there. Passing, he's not too bad. He's 8th, so he's top 10 in passing yards. So the passing defense is there. It's just he's getting gashed in the run game, and it's just causing a lot of problems for him offensively. So he's number 1 in pass yards and 14th in passing. So he's allowing more points than he's scoring. So he's 27. He's allowing 27 points per game, and he's scoring 26 points per game on average. So let's look at Tua, right? Because I feel like that's the big issue here. And this might be red zone turnovers. This might 100% be red zone turnovers, because if he's number 1 in pass yards, but he's only averaging 26 points per game, which is middle of the pack, it's 100% red zone turnovers. And what do you got to do, man? Run the ball in the red zone. You got Tyreek Hill. Get some jet sweeps in there, some screens in there to get those guys in the ball. You got some blazing speed on the offense, man. Tyreek Hill, Waddle, Mike Gesicki. These are guys that's Raheem Mostert. These are fast, speedy guys, bro, at their position. Literally the fastest guys at their positions. So 15 interceptions on the season in 6 games and only 8 touchdowns. And then he's bouncing back between Tua and Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is doing a little bit better. He might need to stick it out with Teddy Bridgewater. Might need to stick it out because the lefty issue is an issue for a lot of people, man. Teddy Bridgewater got 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. So you might want to stick it out with Teddy Bridgewater. That's who Madden starts from the jump. So give him a shot to mess up, and then you throw Tua in, man. You got it's solid there, man. When you got these kind of receivers with this type of speed, you got to find a way to get it done. Tyreek Hill's doing really well, 463 yards, 5 touchdowns. Waddle, he's spreading the ball really well. 26 catches for Tyreek Hill, 24 catches for Waddle, 27 catches for Mike Gesicki. So he's spreading the ball really well between his top receivers. He just got to stop turning the ball over, man, and I feel like he could turn this around. Same thing I said for the Falcons, man. That's the issue. And this is mostly red zone turnovers. He's getting down the field, number 1 in yards, and he's just turning the ball over. He's not turning those red zone possessions into points. So I feel like if Kuzi can do that, he can turn it around. So let's get into our final topic. Who predictions going forward. So who stays hot, who falls off, and I'm just gonna go and say I think Kuzi turns it around. He is probably one of the best offensive passers in this league, And you see it here, number one in pass defense, and he has the weapons, man, to be one of the most scariest offenses in the FML. So I feel like if he limits the turnovers, which I feel like he will, I feel like second half of the season he's gonna pick it up. And with that being said, because his division is struggling, he got Pittsburgh, Detroit, Chicago is his next couple of games. I feel like those are winnable games for him, man. The schedule is not too tough. These are winnable games for him. He just got to limit the turnovers. And with the division, with him only being 2 games behind, no, he's only 1 game behind the division leader because the Bills are 3-3, right? The Dolphins are 2-4. He's 1 game behind. He lost to the Bills early in the season, really bad, ass whooping from the Bills, 52-27. But I feel like he gets him again week 15. And I feel like he could get that win with Iota joining over, though. But the Jets already have 6 losses, man. I think they're completely out of it, to be honest. With 6 losses already and a team like the Jets, this is just a season that you just literally just try to find out who you want to keep, who's your stars on the team, what do you like to do. You figure out your playbook. You just fill out the league and what's going on, and then you pick it up next season. Maybe make some moves. Jets got some nice pieces. They could move around and trade. They probably end up with a top 10 pick, top 15 pick. You could probably get some pieces there, but I feel like the foundation is there for the Jets. So maybe next season they can make it look good. But back to what I was saying, Kuzi, I feel like he is gonna pick it up. That's my prediction for him moving forward. I think he's going to make a complete turnaround for the second half of the season. Just got to limit the turnovers, and he should be good, man. He has the weapons to do so. Reason why I didn't take the Falcons, because the Falcons are just struggling way worse, and I feel like they don't have as much firepower as the Dolphins. They got some good players. They got Ridley. They got Pitts. But I just feel like the speed that the Dolphins have is just different, man. And it's just red zone turnovers for Kuzi. With the Falcons, it's just a much bigger issue, man. It's just turnovers, period. They're just not making the right reads. Who stays hot? I think Doc stays hot, man. He has the division he's in is just sweet. We just gonna go out there and just say it. The division he's in is sweet. He got John. Prime is picking it up. So let me backtrack on that. Prime is picking it up, but I just don't think they can compete with Doc. That's just what I'm saying. The division is not sweet. It's a good division. It's a solid division. You got John and Prime in there, and then you got the Raiders. I think the Raiders slowly starting to figure it out. They beat the Broncos, lost to the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are gonna make playoffs. I'm not too sure about the Broncos, but the Chiefs are going to make playoffs. They're figuring out offensively, and they're learning how to use Mahomes, man. They're learning how to use Mahomes. For the Chiefs, you got them playing the 49ers coming up. That's going to be a big test for them. If they could get a win there, that'll be a big win. I think the Bears stay hot. So we talk about the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to stay hot defensively. They're doing the thing, man. The defense is putting the offense in the best field position to score, and I feel like that's just success right there. So I got the Chargers staying hot. I got the Bears also staying hot, man. The Bears look really, really good, and they look to be doing their thing. They lost 2 straight, and I think they're figuring out the league, man. They're figuring out that they need to run the ball and force turnovers. And I feel like they're going to continue to do that. They limit the turnovers with running the ball. Justin Fields is still young and needs to be developed, and he's doing really well. 64% completions, 12 touchdowns. Really efficient run game and playing defense, and the Bears has figured that out, man. Again, adjusted to the sliders. Obviously, I said Rondo's new. He just joined. He's looking really good, and he's one of my guys that's gonna stay hot. Another team that's just gonna stay falling off, and I feel like the Falcons, man. They don't understand that interceptions is user error, and I feel like they're gonna continue to force the ball and commit turnovers, man. They just gotta take the time down. They feel like they need a new QB, but interceptions, like I said before, is user error. Simply put, it's user error. So who stays hot? Bears and Chargers. maybe we toss an honorable mention out there. Who do I think falls off? I think the Browns falls off. I think the Browns falls off. I feel like their schedule has been a little bit easier. A little easy. I feel like they could have continued that success, but what I've seen from them versus the Chargers, man, it just made either the Chargers is a complete monster or the Browns aren't who they are. But they got Baltimore coming up next. Then they got some really tough games coming up. This is why I think they probably fall off. They're in a really tough division. They still got the Bengals twice, who's 4-2, who's doing really good. They got the Baltimore Ravens, who's undefeated twice. Then they got the AFC East, Kuzi, who I said will probably pick it up and turn things around. So that's going to be a tough game. That's not an easy game. They got Buffalo too, high-powered offense. Struggling a little bit with inconsistency, and that's always been the issue with Dub. But any week he can bring it and pull that game out. He got the Saints also. So tough little schedule. I don't think he's gonna completely fall off the map, but I just don't think he's gonna continue with this success with 5-1. I think he could make that 7 seed, like we went over with the playoff smooth playoff predictions. I think that 7 seed is the perfect spot for him. At 5-1, this is just a little bit too much success, but the teams that he's played wasn't impressive. And then when he played a top team, he got abused. He got beat pretty bad. So he got Baltimore next. That's a big matchup. Then he got Bengals next. So that's just gonna show the strength of the Browns right now. If he could win one out of those 2 games, split with the Ravens and the Bengals this season, then he's in the right direction. So that is gonna wrap it up for the predictions going forward, and that is that's the show, man. That's the podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. That's gonna wrap it up for the first trimester, weeks 1 through 6. And I'll catch you guys mid-season, man. Catch you guys mid-season.